Good afternoon, children.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
We were discussing about the structure of a skeletal muscle in our previous class. We'll be continuing with that. And what are the points we learned? Each muscle is made up of, Nandana, each muscle is made up of several
Muscle bundles.
muscle bundles. And each muscle bundle is made up of several, Punya?
Muscle fibers.
And each muscle fiber is made up of several, Malavika?
They have sarcolemma.
You heard my question. Each muscle fiber is made up of several. What forms a muscle fiber? Several dash form a muscle fiber. Who can tell? Who can tell me? Naurin?
Myofibrils.
Myofibrils or myofilaments. Several such myofilaments or myofibrils form one muscle fiber. Several muscle fibers form a muscle bundle, and several such muscle bundles will be present in each skeletal muscle. And we also learned about its characteristic alternate light and dark pattern, and light and dark bands are formed by two different proteins. Light band is formed by which protein? Steffi?
Actin.
Actin. And what do you call this band?
I band.
Or?
Isotropic band.
And dark band is made up of myosin. You call it as anisotropic band. So let us continue. This we have completed. Each myofibril has alternate light and dark bands on it, giving it a striated appearance. Light band consists of protein actin, and you call it as I band or isotropic band. Then the dark band is made up of protein myosin, and you call this particular region as A band or an isotropic band. And actin is thin, and myosin forms thick filaments. Actin and myosin, they are arranged parallel to one another and also to the longitudinal axis of myofibrils. We completed till here last period. Now, here just see the figure, and you have a picture given in your textbook also. How these filaments are arranged, how actin and myosin filaments are arranged in a myofibril. And as you can see in the picture, just see the figure. Let me take the pen. So here you can find thick filament, light orange or peach color. Those are the thick filaments made up of myosin. Then that black color, those are the thin filaments. So how they are arranged from this picture, you will get an idea how the thick and thin filaments are arranged. And here also you can see I band, then A band. A band is made up of myosin filaments, and I band is made up of actin filaments, or actin constitutes the I band. And Z line is an elastic fiber bisecting the I band. So here you can see I band, which is made up of not this part, this from here till, just a minute. See, from here to here is I band, the light colored. Okay, blue color is shown over there. So bisecting the I band, you can see an elastic fiber. You call it a Z line. The portion of the myofibril between two successive Z lines is known as sarcomere. And that is considered as a functional unit of contraction. A single functional unit of contraction is considered as sarcomere. Sarcomere, you should not get confused with between sarcoplasm, sarcolemma. So we learned about so many terms starting with sarcolemma, sarcoplasm. Then one more we learned, sarcoplasmic reticulum. This is sarcomere. What is sarcomere? The region between two consecutive or two successive Z lines. What is Z line? The elastic fiber passing through the center of the eye band or bisecting the eye band. You can see an elastic fiber. You call it as Z band. And the region between two successive Z lines is known as sarcomere. And sarcomere is considered as a functional unit of contraction. And in the resting stage means when the muscles are in the relaxed state, when it is not undergoing any contraction. So when it is in the resting stage, the edges of the thin filament on either side of the thick filament. See, as you know, it's alternate light and dark band. So light band alternates with the dark band, and that pattern is repeated throughout the myofibril. And how are they arranged? When the muscle fiber or when the myofibril is in the resting stage, the edges of the thin filament on either side of the thick filament partially overlaps the free end of the thick filament, leaving the central part. So in the figure it is clear. As I told you already, the orange color in this figure, the orange color what you see. So these are the, see these portion that forms the thick filament, and the black color thin filament. So here it is marked thick filament and thin filament. And this, in this picture, what you see is a muscle myofibril in a relaxed state when it is not undergoing any contraction. And here you can see the light band on either side. So this is the dark band, orange color. So on either side, you can see the light band is partially overlapping. You can see it's partially overlapping the dark band, but not in the center. Center is left without any overlapping. Once again, the edges of the thin filament, if you see the figure, it is very clear. The edges of these thin filament on either side of the thick filament is partially overlapping. Here you can see it is getting, till here it is overlapped. Till here it is overlapped. See, it is overlapping. The thin filament on either side, they are partially overlapping the free ends of the thick filament, leaving the central portion. Central part, you cannot find any overlapping, but either sides are overlapped by the thin filaments. Any doubt? Is that clear, children? Have you understood? When I show one more picture, I think it will be a little more. Okay, here you see myosin is given in blue color, red color actin. Myosin is the thick filament, actin is the thin filament. So see here, myosin, the blue colored ones are myosin filaments. On either side, you can see the red color, actin filament is overlapping. Okay. The blue colored ones or the myosin filaments are getting overlapped by the red ones, actin. They are partially overlapping. Why? Because in the center, there is no overlapping. In the center, you cannot find, see here it is not overlapped. On either sides, overlapping takes place. And what is Z line? As I told you, Z line is an elastic fiber passing through the center of eye band. And actin filaments will be on either side of the myosin filament, will be overlapping it partially. Why partially? The central region is left without any overlapping. Okay. Edge zone. Now we learned about Z line. Now let's see what is meant by edge zone. The central part of the thick filaments which is not overlapped. So see here, let me take a different coloring. Okay, here you see this much area is not overlapped. So that central part, remember the Blue colored one shows the myosin filaments. So the central part of myosin filaments, which is not overlapped by the thin filaments, is known as the edge zone, this region. Okay, children? Hope you are getting it. I'm not getting any
Yes, ma'am.
response. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we'll see what is M line. So many terms, so many alphabets you're learning. Don't get confused. I'll repeat it. Now let's see what is M line. The fibrous membrane which holds together the thick filaments. I'll repeat once again. The fibrous membrane which holds together the thick filaments in the center of the A band is known as M line. Is known as M line. So here you can find the M line. The M line. Okay. The fibrous membrane which holds together the thick filaments in the middle of the A band. Don't get confused between M and H. Edge zone is a region which is not overlapped. So this from here till here, it is not overlapped. So that zone which is not overlapped by actin filaments, you call it as edge zone. And this fibrous membrane which is holding the thick filaments together in the middle of the A band is known as M line. So we learned about Z line, M line, then edge zone. Z line, it is in association with actin filaments. M line associated with the myosin filaments or A band. Whereas sarcomere is what? Sarcomere is the region between two consecutive Z lines, which is considered to be the unit of functional unit of contraction. And what is edge zone? Edge zone is a region which is not overlapped by actin filaments. M line is a fibrous membrane which holds together the thick filaments in the middle of A band. I'll just quickly recap what we learned. Z line is the elastic fiber which is bisecting the I band. Now, sarcomere is the portion of the myofibril between two successive Z lines. You consider it as the functional unit of contraction. And under normal conditions, when the muscles are not undergoing any contraction, when it is in the resting stage, because why it is mentioned resting stages, all these arrangements can get changed when they contract. These filaments can come together because at the time of contraction these are subjected to changes, but at the time of relaxation or when it is in the resting stage, the edges of the thin filaments, actin filaments, will be overlapping the thick filaments partially. Why we say partially? Because the central region of the thick filament is not getting overlapped by the thin filaments. So that region of thick filaments without any overlapping, you call it as edge zone. So that region is edge zone. Then we also learned about M line. M line is the fibrous membrane which holds together the thick filaments in the middle of A band. Now, before we learn about the different proteins that constitute a muscle and their structure, quickly summarize these terms. I want you to tell me about Z line, sarcomere, edge zone, M line. One by one, you can take turns and say quickly. Gayatri, you may start.
The region between the two consecutive.
First, you say what is Z line. We'll go in order. What is Z line? Elastic?
Elastic fiber which bisects the I band.
Okay. Naurin, sarcomere.
The portion of the myofibrils between two successive Z lines is called a sarcomere.
Okay. Then its zone, Michael?
The thick filament, central part of the thick filament that's not overlapped by the thin filament is called H zone.
Okay. Nandana, M line,
The fibrous membrane which holds together the thick filaments in the middle.
okay. So we'll continue with the structure of proteins. Two types of proteins are there, as I told you, actin and myosin. Starting with actin. Each actin, already we have learned actin is the thinnest one and myosin is the thick filament. Each actin filament has got two F actins. F stands for filamentous. You can see in the figure, the green colored figure, see F actin. So two are there. Each actin filament has got two F actins or filamentous actins. They are helically wound around each other. So they are twined around each other. As you can see in the figure, it's not standing independently or separate. It is twined around each other. Each F actin is made up of, or it's a polymer of G actins. Monomeric G. G stands for globular. F stands for filamentous. So as you can see, you know what the difference between monomer and polymer. Several monomers join together to form a polymer. The individual units of a polymer is known as monomer. So here what they have said is each actin filament is made up of two F actins or filamentous actins. They are twined around each other. And each F actin, two are there. Each one is a polymer of G actin or globular actin. That is why you can see so many round structure. So each one is G actin. So that is the monomer. So several such G actins are joined together to form filamentous actin. Okay. So each actin or the thin filament is made up of two F actins or filamentous actins. If you take each F actin, you will find that it is made up of several subunits, several monomeric units known as globular actins. As you can see, they are globe-like spherical structures. Many such monomer units are joined together to form filamentous actin. Two filaments of tropomyosin. So in brown color, like rope, in the picture it looks like a rope. So two filaments of tropomyosin are also running close to these F actins throughout its length. So this structure is known as tropomyosin. So along with the filamentous actins, two filaments of tropomyosin are also found, which run along the entire length of F actin. And tropomyosin is very important in bringing about the contraction of muscles. So actin and myosin as such, you know, they interact with each other and they bind with each other and they bring about muscle contraction. So tropomyosin helps in the binding of actin and myosin and brings about muscular contraction. So they also play a very important role. Then, as you can see in the picture, one more structure is there that is known as troponin. It's a complex protein and it has got three protein subunits. As you can see in the figure, there are three protein subunits. See, three protein subunits are there which form troponin. It's a complex protein that also you can see scattered throughout an regular intervals, not throughout, scattered at regular intervals on tropomyosin. And the role of troponin is to mask the binding sites for myosin on actin in resting state. So actin, it's having some binding sites with which they will bind with the myosin filament to bring about muscle contraction. So under normal condition, those binding sites will be covered, will be kept hidden by the presence of this troponin. It's a protein, it's a complex protein with 3 subunits, and its role is to keep the binding sites of actin on the surface or on this, you can find some binding sites. The purpose of having this binding site is to bind with or attach to myosin filament to bring about contraction of the muscle. But under normal condition, when this is not happening, or when it is in the resting stage, these regions, those binding sites, because these are specific sites, at these regions only myosin can bind, or with the help of those binding sites only myosin can get attached to actin filament. So normally this will be covered or masked or kept hidden with the help of these troponin subunits or troponin protein. And how it is getting unmasked and the process is taking place, you will learn later. So troponin is a complex protein. It is distributed at regular intervals in tropomyosin, and its purpose is to mask the binding sites of myosin on actin when the muscle fibril or myofibril is in a relaxed state. And when the contraction take place, these troponin will be removed from there and the binding sites will get exposed. You will learn about that later. So once again, I'll just summarize the points we learned. There are 2 main proteins in muscles which help in bringing about the contraction. The first one is actin. The structure also can be asked children to explain for your examination. Explain the structure of contractile proteins with the help of a diagram. So in that way it can be asked. So even though it seems to be very simple, these diagrams also you should know. Don't just see the figure. You won't be able to recollect. You have to practice, you have to try to draw. And see, when I was in my school, like in social studies, India's map, usually it comes and we have to draw the map of India. We will not get a map, ready-made map won't be there. We will have to draw the map and then label the parts as asked. And just by looking at India's map, I used to feel, maybe this is the experience with other students, I don't know. Once I look at the picture, oh, this is very easy, such a simple diagram, I can easily draw. I don't, without practicing, just by having a look at that, oh, I feel, oh, it's very easy to draw. But in the examination hall, when I tried to, do it, it was not coming properly because I haven't practiced it not even once. So the pictures or diagram seems to be very simple, but once you try to draw only, you will find the difficulty. So never look at the diagrams or just have a glance and don't come for the exam like that. So at least once you should try to draw it. Otherwise, you will land up in trouble. Definitely, diagram-based questions can come, and yours is internal. So I can surely say that you will definitely get diagram-based questions. And some of you used to say that we are not good at drawing, but that is not an excuse. If you have opted for bio, you have to practice it. Okay. And the diagram, when we ask you to draw the diagram, we don't expect any diagram similar to drawn by great artists. It's not like that. But the path should be clear, labeling should be neat. Beauty, there can be compromise with the beauty of the diagram that you draw. That is not important, but we should understand the parts clearly from that. Try to make it as neat as possible. These are simple diagrams, but just by looking at this, okay, it is easy, no need to practice, you might think. But when you try to draw it in the book or the paper only, you will understand the difficulty. So whenever some diagrams you need to learn, please do practice at least once. You try to draw it. Okay, so each actin filament is having two filamentous actins. They are twined around each other, and each F actin, each filamentous actin is made up of monomeric units. The monomeric units is known as units are known as globular actins or G actins. So several such G actins are joined together to form a filamentous actin. Like that, two F actins are present which are twined around each other. Then apart from that, there are two tropomyosin filaments running along the entire length of F actin, or running close to the F actin. Then the third structure associated with actin filament is troponin. What is troponin? It's a complex protein made up of or consisting of three subunits, protein subunits. And what is its function? Its function is to mask the binding sites. The binding sites for myosin present on actin. It is with the help of these sites that actin filament will go and get attached to myosin filament at the time of muscular contraction. So under normal conditions, or when the cell, when the muscle fiber or the myofibril is in the relaxed state, these regions, these binding sites will be kept covered. And these binding sites are specific, and myosin can get attached to actin only at these particular sites. Any doubts? Children, any doubt? No. Okay, next we are going to learn about myosin. So actin we have completed, myosin. Myosin is a polymerized protein. Myosin is also another protein which is a polymer, means it is made up of so many monomer units. And here the monomer units are meromyosins. So several meromyosins joined together to form a myosin protein. And meromyosin has got two parts. So meromyosin is provided with two parts. Globular head with a short arm, and you call it as HMM or heavy meromyosin, and a tail, that region you call it as light meromyosin. So myosin is also a polymerized protein, which means it's made up of several monomer units. And you call the monomer units as meromyosin. So meromyosin is the monomer which makes up the polymer myosin. And each meromyosin has got two parts, HMM, LMM, heavy meromyosin, light meromyosin. Heavy meromyosin consists of a globular head. So this is the head region with a short arm, and the light meromyosin is made up of a tail. Heavy meromyosin and light meromyosin. Once again, myosin is a polymerized protein. The monomer unit is meromyosin. Each meromyosin has got two subunits, LMM, HMM, heavy meromyosin and light meromyosin. Heavy meromyosin consists of a globular head and a short arm, and light meromyosin consists of a tail. The head and the arm, they project outwards. As you can see, here there is a bend, they project upwards. So this is the, see, this is the surface. From here, it is projected upward. The head and the arm project outwards at a regular distance and angle from each other at the surface of polymerized myosin, and we call it as crow's arm. So this region here, it is marked crow's arm. Once again, I will repeat. Myosin is made up of meromyosin monomeric units. Each meromyosin has got LMM, HMM, heavy meromyosin, light meromyosin. The tail forms the light meromyosin. The head and the arm together form heavy meromyosin. And the head and the arm, they'll be projecting outward at an angle, as you can see in the figure, at a definite angle and at a regular distance. So after reaching till here, so at a regular distance, after reaching till here, at a particular distance, they'll be projected outward at the surface of the protein, that is myosin, and we call this head and the arm together as crow's arm. As you can see in the figure, you call it as crow's arm. And globular head, you can see the picture of globular head. There you can see some dark green colored patches marked. Those are the binding sites. So when we discussed about actin, I told you the actin has got some binding sites where it will get attached with the actin. Sorry, with myosin. Similarly, on myosin also they have certain binding sites. On actin, binding sites are there for myosin. And on myosin filament, binding sites are there for actin. And they have two binding sites. One binding site is for ATP binding sites, and the other one are the binding sites for actin. So the globular head, the binding sites for actin and myosin, the binding sites for ATP and actin both are present on the globular head. Actin binding sites are those specific sites with the help of which myosin gets attached to actin. And ATP binding sites are meant for binding with ATP. This globular head is actually an active ATPase enzyme. It's an active ATPase enzyme which will break down ATP molecule. ATPase enzyme, it has ATP binding sites and active sites for actin. So once again, I'll repeat the points we discussed about myosin. Myosin is a polymerized protein because it's made up of monomeric units. These monomeric units are meromyosin. Meromyosin has got two parts, light meromyosin and heavy meromyosin. And the light meromyosin is made up of the tail region and heavy meromyosin is made up of the head and the arm. The head and the arm, both of them at a particular distance and at an angle will be projected outwards to form a crow's arm. And at the globular head, you can see two binding sites for ATP as well as binding sites for actin. These are specific sites. The attachment with that concerned substance will take place only at that particular region. So with that, we have completed the structure of actin and myosin. Now the last part is sliding filament theory. Sliding filament theory can be asked as an essay question, how the muscle contraction is taking place. So sliding filament theory explains how muscular contraction is taking place with the help of these proteins, actin and myosin. So please summarize the structure of contractile proteins, actin and myosin we discussed. Vidur can start.
Actin has two filaments, F actins, which is helically wound around each other. Each F actin is a polymer of monomer globular actin.
Okay, continue, Steffi.
Two filaments of tropomyosin also run along the F actins.
Then, Anna. So tropomyosin, F actin, then globular actin, then one more component is there. Anna, Sharon,
Troponin,
ah,
it is a complex protein.
hmm,
It is distributed at regular intervals on tropomyosin,
hmm.
and
What is its function?
it masks the binding sites for myosin on actin.
Throughout or at a
Rest.
particular stage? Ah, when it is in
Resting
the resting stage. Then, Gayatri, about myosin filament.
The myosin filament, like
Hmm. Where are you? Gayatri? Malavika? Gayatri is here. Yes, Gayatri.
the myosin filament that consists of approximately like 300 myosin.
Then,
They many monomeric proteins called meromycins constitute one thick filament of
where
myosin.
were you? Where were you when we were discussing this? Huh? Thinking about the tea in the evening and the snacks? Then, are you disturbed? What happened, Gayatri?
That point is like
You are always free to ask me to repeat. No, why you didn't ask me to repeat? Punya, I'll come back to you, Gayatri.
Myosin has monomeric units called meromyosin.
And meromyosin consists of two parts. Which are the two parts? LMM and HMM.
Heavy meromyosin and light meromyosin.
Light meromyosin. And Malavika, what makes up heavy meromyosin?
globular head with a short arm.
And light meromyosin, its tail. Now we learned about crow's arm formation also. What is a crow's arm? Nandana?
The head and the arm project outwards at a regular distance and an angle.
From the surface of the filament.
Polymerized myosin.
And this is known as the head and the arm together we call as a crow's arm. Okay. Gayatri, can you summarize now? Unmute.
Myosin is made up of many monomeric units called meromycins.
Meromyosin. Wait. Meromyosin. And meromyosin has got two parts. Tell me those two parts.
LMM and HMM.
Okay. Expansion?
Light meromycin and
Heavy meromyosin. Tell me, heavy meromyosin is made up of?
Heavy meromycin of two parts, a head and a projected arm.
Okay. And light meromyosin?
A tail.
And what is a crow's arm?
The head and the arm is projected outwards. That is
from the at a particular distance and angle. And at an angle from the surface of the filament, polymerized protein or the filament, and they form a structure known as crow's arm. Okay. So if we start with sliding filament theory, we won't be able to complete it. So that next class we'll discuss. Okay. So we'll wind up. Any doubts? No. So please do revise. And Anthony, Lydia, Meenakshi, Naurin, any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll wind up. Thank you, children.